Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
Lego Lord of the Rings Balrog raised eyebrows for what some fans say is an unfortunate pose. I see it. I see it. Oh, I see it. It's taking a piss on Gandalf.
You shall not!
And he says to her, listen, you got a fine white girl ass. So I don't like the look of this D. Listen, I don't need gay or straight boner pills. My boner works just fine.
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I want to see boobies! I think I've died and gone straight to honker heaven. Boobs are amazing.
Hail and howdy. Welcome to the Daily Dive, the Double D's, where you, the chat, the gatekeepers are in charge. And I had a whole different show planned for today. Whole different show. Well, okay, it's mostly the same, with just one large edition of the giant news that unironically yesterday I said, I wish it would just end already. I believe it was yesterday. It was either that or Wednesday where I said, I want to just be over, and it's over. It's over. The big thing is over. And just because I must contractually complete this. Hello, Kratos, man who basically lives to see me in pain and suffering. You dick. There. I have to be a Grinch to Kratos because the rules apply to that. We are having a little special here this month. If you are first showing up, it's the Be Merry, Be Grinch tiers. Right now, I have to be married to my best friend in the world, Dermy. He's my bestest friend in the world. And I have to be a Grinch to the torturous, demonic man who wants me to simply cry in a corner, Kratos, and to the shaved furry weasel. Anyway, other than that, we are being merry or being Grinch to people. For every $100 in each tier, I have to be merry or be a Grinch somebody. If you donate $100 flat, you get to choose. Otherwise, it's kind of a discussion between those who have contributed for that particular section of the tier. And for an additional $50, I have to either to a specific person. I either have to give I have to give extra support, or I have to be an extra bully and a dick. So there it is. That's this, because the rules, and you get there. You fill up these tiers by playing the game of this show. $10 gets you an Adam rant on just about anything. $15 to ask me a question. I'll tell you no lies. We generally have a great discussion over that. $15 also gets you an instant hot take reaction on an article in the news we may or may not have seen, one you may have found, either way. And then, or no more $20 reactions, because I have a strike because we reacted videos, thanks to Kratos. And then $35 gets you a chat, made me watch this reviews, of which next week we have to do, where is it? Watch Southland Tales. I have to watch Southland Tales, Chris and Kratos. And today we have a chat, maybe watch this reviews of Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. George Clooney was a terrible Batman. Yeah, I hadn't seen that movie in a while. It's worse than I remember. It's worse than I remember. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing fine. And here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. See, Derby doesn't suck. He's my best friend. I won't let you talk about him like that, you evil son of a bitch. Anyway, um, I got a show for you guys today. I got a lot to talk about. We've got basically Dawson's Creek Star Trek. That dropped right after the show yesterday. We got Dawson's Creek Star Trek. We've got a chat, maybe watch his reviews. We got whatever else went on the news, and of course, the big news, the thing that'll be swallowing up all of our discussion time for the next 72 hours. Netflix won the Warner Brothers sweepstakes. They won. I got it wrong. I said that it would. I was saying I think it might be Comcast Universal. Majority of people said Paramount, and I'm glad. I'm kind of glad they were wrong because everybody else looks stupid. But we're going to get into it in a minute. It's the first big thing we're going to talk about. But I will say before we get in there, this Netflix winning this is the worst possible situation. Like I said, I wanted Comcast to win, but I kind of wanted Paramount to win because all the leftards in the stands were crying that Paramount might win because I'm MAGA. So I kind of wanted it to happen just for that reason. But Netflix won, and it is the worst possible outcome of this. It is. It is. So we'll get into that. And hail and howdy, everybody coming in. You guys are hot and heavy, hot and excited. And he's not fat. You jealous man. You, Dermy's big boned. He needs that insulation to survive the cold Kansas winter. He's just big and lovable. This hurts. It really hurts. Anyway, first let's do a bit of sad news though. This is a bit of sad news. I saw this last night and it really stinks. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa passed away yesterday from a stroke in Santa Barbara, California. This dude is one of the GOATs. This dude is one of the journeyman GOATs for the past 50, 60 years. He was great. He was great. And he did that. You heard nothing. You heard nothing. You heard nothing. I would never speak ill of Derby, who is my bestest best friend in the world. But Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, this guy did it all. He did it all. He was a journeyman. You could see him in just about anything. He could do comedy. He could do serious drama. He could do action. This guy was great. Never heard a bad word about him. It was fantastic to watch him work. Took every role seriously. I mean, he could cam it up being Shang Tsung, or he could be serious in a super serious movie like Memoirs of a Geisha. He could be a bit player on Nash Bridges, and he could comedy it up in a bunch of other movies as well. So this guy was a GOAT. R.I.P. Cary, you were great. All the heartfelt wishes for his family in this sad time that he's passed on. Only 75, had a stroke, wasn't ill or anything, just had a stroke. And this sucks. This sucks. So RIP, dude. This dude was great. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledged, because I know it's going around there, but I guarantee Hollywood at large will not acknowledge the awesomeness of this dude. And he could do his own martial arts stunts too. He didn't need somebody to stand in for him when he was Shang Tsung. He did it himself. He was a badass. This dude was awesome. Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, one of the GOATs. One of the GOATs. If you know, you know. So I just wanted to make sure that we paid honest tribute to Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa. That dude was awesome. That was awesome. Anyway, okay. Let me have a drink. Still a little sick, but I'm doing better than I have been. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. We have been waiting for the winner of the Warner Brothers sweepstakes. Several months ago, Paramount, unsolicited, made an attempt to buy Warner Brothers Warner Brothers Discovery rejected them twice. And then the Zaz, David Zaslav, said, hey, all right, bidding war, bring me your best offers. Now, a lot of rumors went around saying that this is what the Zaz was always brought in to do, make Warner Brothers a nice little cherry on top for another company. Problem is, Warner Brothers is not a cherry on top. It's struggling. James Gunn's DCU sent it to this situation where the likes of Netflix, Comcast Universal, and Paramount Skydance emerged as the front runners to grab onto this tasty little morsel to top off their corpos or other studios. And for a long time, everybody believed that it was going to be Paramount. They thought, well, Paramount has the inside track. The president said something, this and that. Oh, they're making moves. They got this and that money. As I said before, as I've said in the past, I thought it was going to be Comcast Universal. We all got it wrong in Roundtable, all of us, last week when we said Comcast Universal, all that Saudi money, all that Arab money, it was gonna buy it in there. Even Paramount Skydance had some of that Middle Eastern money. But no, in the end, it was Netflix and their consortium of investors and bankers and stuff like that that have won stage one of purchasing Warner Brothers for a massive $82.7 billion. Remember, let's just, by comparison, Disney bought 20th Century Fox for $72 billion. Netflix just did it for 82.7 for Warner Brothers. And it's just Warner Brothers, because here's the kicker. Now we're going to go over the nuts and bolts. We're going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly here. We're going to do a little bit of speculation, and we're going to leave more speculation for the conversations to be had this weekend on the roundtable. And here's what I think one of the reasons that Warner Brothers took this deal out of the gate. This part right here. If it all falls apart, Netflix will pay them no matter what $5.8 billion for a breakup fee. Because now that this is done, this has to run the gauntlet of government approval, which is going to be very tough because already a lot of people were screaming monopoly, monopoly. Well, let's be honest. No matter who bought Warner Brothers Discovery, it was going to be a monopoly no matter what. They're just claiming because now that Netflix wants to pick up basically all they're picking up is Warner Brothers Studio and HBO Max streaming. And of course, the catalogs that go with them. Everything else is being split into a new company called Discovery Global. All the terrestrial television and CNN and all that kind of stuff will be in a separate company that once all said is done will exist on its own, tethered to nobody. Now, there are rumors out there that this deal was done to keep Paramount from getting their hands on CNN because the Ellison family, the owners of Skydance, were very hot to reshape CNN into a different type of news broadcasting network. That's rumors, so we're not really going to dig into that. What we're going to dig into now are the nuts and bolts of this. So, Netflix bought Warner Brothers Studio and all its subsidiaries and HBO Max, the third largest streaming, I will just say network for lack of a better term, largest streaming network out there, which means that this is why everybody's screaming monopoly for Netflix, because now Netflix is number one and they own number three. So now they are by and far the largest, most powerful streaming service in the world if this goes through. Second part, Warner Brothers Studios. Now Netflix, like every other large corpo, they own a movie studio. Bottom line, this was the worst possible outcome of this. Here's how I see it being the worst possible outcome. One, Netflix has no idea what it's doing when it comes to making movies and creating television. They're terrible at it. They still live in DEI world, where agenda and propaganda and identity politics come first. Therefore, anything they create, we're going to wonder, is it going to get Netflix? There's a reason we have the term, is something going to get Netflix? Is it going to get race swapped and made super gay? Or the other 50% chance, it'll be pretty good. At the same time, Netflix now will own the entire Warner Brothers catalog, 100 plus years of movie and television that they can just slap on Netflix. Because there's the question there. Here's the question you have to wonder now. And these are questions we're going to pose and we're going to answer and try to break down over the coming days and weeks and possibly even months as this goes through the process. What does Netflix do with HBO Max? As I was talking about it with a couple people last night, HBO Max is good for its catalog, but its interface sucks. So, as I see it, Netflix has one of two options. You either absorb HBO Max into all of Netflix and quietly phase it out, which is what I think a lot of people think they're gonna do, or you simply reformat HBO Max with the Netflix algorithms and interface, which everybody seems to like, and let it run forward and keep the brand recognition, the name recognition of HBO Max, and have it be a brand. Now, there's a lot of statements in here. We're not going to read these today because we don't want to bog down this news segment, this early breakdown here. But the CEO right here, Mr. Ted Sarandos, has said a lot. We're going to keep HBO Max intact. We're going to keep making movies. They promised that up until 2029, every Warner Brothers movie set to release will be released. Now, that is a promise that they can easily break. Perfect example, something like Clayface in the DCU, which we're going to talk a lot about in the coming days and weeks. Clayface hasn't had a single thing of promotional material released. Essentially, it's in the same situation Batgirl was. If Netflix so desires, they can shit can that. They can't shit can Supergirl. That's already gotten a lot of stuff out there. There's going to be a trailer next week, most likely. That's going to happen. Lanterns also had a trailer shown in the UK just a couple days ago. So Lanterns is out there. Lanterns is coming out, although that's been pushed back to July. But Clayface may get junked. Man of Tomorrow may get junked because we ask the questions now, what is the fate of the DCU? What will happen to James Gunn and Peter Safran? Do they have anything in their contracts that say if a large new entity takes over Warner Brothers, are we safe? Once again, I remind you, the only reason Warner Brothers was in play is because Superman 2025, James Gunn's Superman, tanked, lost money, lost truly hundreds of millions of dollars, not just 50, 80 million dollars, but hundreds of millions of dollars, because we know the real numbers. Left Warner Brothers vulnerable. And here we are. Netflix is a disaster. And now I'm not going to talk about does this kill Hollywood. I don't really care if it kills Hollywood. I don't care if it kills the movie-going experience, if Netflix doesn't do that. Because frankly, in my opinion, the movie-going experience is already shit. It's already garbage. What's left to ruin? Going there is terrible. The movies are mostly terrible. Everything costs too much. So there's nothing much left to destroy. But this just might be the beginning of the end. True. But in the end, what's it matter? What's it matter? What I am more focused on is the possible creative black hole that we're now going to get because of the people involved in Netflix, now the people involved in HBO Max. Because think about it like this, whether you like it or not, and I generally don't like it, Game of Thrones is a big hit. Will that be affected by anything in Netflix? Harry Potter live action reboot, 2027. Slated for release. They're already filming season 1. They might even be on to season 2 by now. What are they going to do about that? Will that only have the 2 seasons and then they'll pull the plug? Will Netflix mess with it even more? I mean, I'm sure they're plenty happy with Black Snake because we know how they operate. But Netflix owning Warner Brothers It's it's going to be either terrible or just meh. Because I personally don't see anything great coming out of this. I don't. I do not. I feel as though this is the end of creativity. It's the end of an era. Warner Brothers was the final independent studio. All of 20th century's great studio systems are now owned by big corpos. They're all gone. MGM, Universal, Fox, Warner Brothers, Paramount. All owned by big corpo now. Netflix, good luck. You're going to need it. Because I'm trying to form the proper words here for it, but I do not see a bright spot in this, because the things that worked on Netflix weren't made by Netflix. But now Netflix owns everything from Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings, to a lion's share of the Lord of the Rings IP. I guarantee, I will say this as we round this out here. I think they shit can Hunt for Gollum. I think they shit can that thing fast. That's not a good idea at all. And I think they're going to realize that quickly. Either way, we're going to see how this happens. And in the end, it may fall apart. It may fall apart. This may have been the plan of Warner Brothers to begin with. Bring in Netflix, get that guaranteed $5.8 billion, falls apart, get that cash influx, right your ship, and then move on. And at the same time, jettison the dead weight of terrestrial television, which will become Discovery Global. We'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of faith. I don't think you should either. All right, there we go. All right, that wasn't an in-depth breakdown, because I'm leaving that for Sunday's discussion. But you're right, Diz. We are in a dark age of essentially creativity. Where it is. There it is. Yeah, we're in a dark age creativity. We are in a dark age creativity. They are the people out there don't know what they're doing. Netflix really doesn't know what they're doing. Not at all. Listen, I know it was a rumor. It was a rumor, a goof rumor, but they did Cynthia Erivo for Voldemort. Please, that would make my day. It would make my year when that drops. Oh, please. So here we are. What saddens me the most is that the studios are all gone now. That's what saddens me the most. That's what saddens me the most. You could super chat. You're allowed to super chat. You just can't make me watch anything anymore. Let's just chat. Make me watch his reviews. Anyway. Yeah. Now, once again, when in the discussion going forward, I'm more interested in talking about the lack of creativity that we're going to get out of this. Some people are going to go on and on about, oh, Hollywood is dead. Newsflash: Hollywood was already dead. The movie-go experience is already dead, like I said. Okay, but yeah, I don't want to spend a ton, because there's a lot of different discussions to spin off from this. What happens with the TV shows? What happens with Game of Thrones? What happens with Harry Potter? What happens with Lord of the Rings? What happens with the DCU? That's one of the biggest discussions we're going to have. What happens with James Gunn's DCU? Now, I'm going to say this right. I didn't want to say this in the video proper, but the Snyderverse is not coming back. People who think the Snyderverse is coming back, it's not coming back. I don't think the Snyderverse is coming back. I think that's a pipe dream. What I do think is that they're going to they're going to phase out James Gunn's DCU. I'm beginning to think I will we'll hash it out on Sunday. I don't think Man of Tomorrow gets made now because it hasn't even started production. It's very easy to stop it. They're still casting. Please don't let Matt Smith be Brainiac. Don't let him get involved in this horrible, horrible thing. Please no. Does the Batman 2 get canceled? Batman Part 2. After the news that ScarJo was involved yesterday, does now that get canceled? Because that hasn't started filming yet. Anything that hasn't started filming is vulnerable to cancellation. That's my basic take. Harry Potter season 1 and 2 probably going to happen because it's already filming. Supergirl's going to happen. The marketing has begun, as well as Lanterns, because the trailer was physically shown. So there's laws in place. But Clayface could get Batgirled. Could very easily get Batgirled. Creature Commando season 2 could get pushed aside. Every other piece of garbage they're doing that hasn't finished could get kicked aside. We'll save more of that discussion for this weekend because we got more. Let me check, see if you guys are hot to do anything. No, you're not. You haven't jumped on me yet for anything. But we got more to talk about. This also dropped yesterday and made me laugh so hard. And I'm not the only one that made these comparisons, but you guys know damn well I am a real Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek. Every Sunday night, I hang out with Brad, Hitman, and Fractured, and we talk Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We watch an episode. We have discussions, which then are aired on Brad's channel every Wednesday. I hate Kurtzman Trek. I hate JJ Trek, which led to Kurtzman Trek. And next month, we get perhaps the last of Kurtzman Trek, perhaps the worst of Kurtzman Trek. We get Starfleet Academy. And yesterday, we've already seen a trailer, but yesterday, shortly after this show, they dropped a promotional poster, which has been memed to hell already. What is this? What are we looking at? Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, Beverly Hills 90210. Because that's what this is right here. That's what this poster represents. And I've seen the comparisons. It's literally ripping off 90s, 2000s teenage drama TV show stuff. Literally ripping it off. This show is not serious Star Trek. It literally will be who's sleeping with who's friends with who's gay with who, what drama here, what drama there. Bullshit. And I'm going to be there I'm going to review the hell out of this. Might even put a panel together to talk about it every week if we can all find the time. This is so silly. Like right here. I mean, clearly, they're going to sleep together. He's going to sleep with multiple people. They might be best friends where she's going to love him and he's not going to love her. I think he's gay. Look at him. He's not wrapped up in any girl. I think he's gay and she's going to have the hots for him and think I can change him. But he's totally gay. So, and then of course you get all kinds of other crap in there. All kinds of agenda, identity politics, bullshit. This is silly and stupid. This is not Starfleet Academy is a serious place where you go to become the best of the best and be a commissioned officer in Starfleet to serve on a ship where you are going to explore the galaxy and also be ready to defend the Federation against its enemies. Now, of course, this isn't set in real Star Trek era, but I'm talking about what being really a part of Starfleet Academy is. Starfleet Academy takes the best of the best and puts out the best of the best. It's a dream to be put on the flagship, to put on the Enterprise. And these people are not worthy. This show is not worthy. Starfleet Academy. What a joke. What a joke this is. And it's not a funny joke. It's a sad joke. It shows us that this is where we are at the end of all things Star Trek. They turn it into a teenage drama show where everybody's going to be sleeping with everybody. People are going to be crying. I guarantee they'll be crying. There'll be emotional sit downs. They'll be walking and talking in hallways. And in the end, we will have lost another. Well, we have lost any chance of recovery from Star Trek because Paramount doesn't know what they're doing. They don't. They were going to resurrect J.J. Trek, then they weren't going to resurrect J.J. Trek. Now they're going to make something original and new, not based on anything on television or anything came before, but how you can have interest for that if nobody cares about the crew. The reason people watched the TOS movies is because we cared about the crew of the Enterprise. And then we got TNG movies because we cared about the crew of the Enterprise D and the Enterprise E. We would have cared about a DS9 movie. We wouldn't have cared about a Voyager movie, but that's a whole different conversation we had. But this is a joke. A sad, depressing, makes me want to holler and rage joke. And I'll be laughing all the way to the bank because I'll make more money on this than Paramount will. They say bringing in subs, say bringing in sponsors. There ain't no merch to be made for this. Goodbye, Star Trek. You've boldly gone into a black hole and we're never seeing you again. Ridiculous. Oh, my throat is so dry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's not even a full breed click on. It's another fucking half breed. Another goddamn half breed. I don't know what Voyager's ratings were, but I don't care about the ratings. I care about how it's lasted. No, Voyager is the dirty child we only talk about when we want to make fun of it. Listen, I don't hate Voyager. I just don't like it as much as the rest of Star Trek. Yeah, so no, but they will be tarnishing the name of Benjamin Sisko. You know, that's what's going to happen. No, that's going to happen. They teased it in the trailer. Yep. Yippity yep. All right, I saw that we had a $20 super chat from Fernandez T. Thank you, Fernandez. I'm not a holiday person, bah humbug, but happy holidays, y'all. Anyway, someone mentioned in the chat this makes them more of a monopoly or headed there just like before. What do you think? Okay, so no matter who, as I said when I was discussing proper, no matter who got Warner Brothers, it is a monopoly. It was going to be a monopoly no matter who had it. I just think it's ridiculous to say that Netflix is the only one going to have a monopoly because they have HBO Max and Netflix in one group now. If Paramount had got it, Paramount and Warner Brothers would have been two studios. That would have been a monopoly on movie studios. If NBC Universal got it, it would have been Universal Studios and Warner Brothers, two studios, a monopoly on studios. Monopoly either way. And it's what I wanted out of this was I wanted Warner Brothers to end up in the best place where creatively their IPs and catalog could be cared for. And the reason outside of wanting maybe libtards and retarded stands and shills to cry, Paramount would have made that happen. But Paramount, as we've just talked about, they don't have a good track record of taking care of their IPs. I don't care what the Ellisons are saying. Historically, Paramount cannot take care of their IPs either. Can NBC, Comcast, Universal do it? Yes and no. But at least, as I said in previous conversations, it felt like to me that Comcast Universal had a better has a better structure of separating its individual parts. to work on stuff. Paramount, everything's about Paramount Plus now. Comcast Universal, they have their different departments. Do they even have a streaming service? Like a Peacock. Yeah, Peacock. Yeah, they have Peacock. I forgot. NBC Peacock. But see, not everything's about Peacock with Comcast Universal. With Paramount, everything's about Paramount Plus. With Netflix, now everything's about Netflix, and now everything's going to be about HBO Max. So my belief, personal belief, was that if it went to Comcast Universal, they would have let Warner Brothers remain its own entity under the umbrella as it does with other subsidiaries. Unlike Netflix, which is simply going to absorb it all. Paramount would have merged it and absorbed it, not let it live independently. I said Peacock. No, I said Peacock. I said Peacock. I added it in there. I said Peacock. I remember. I didn't forget. It took a second, but I remembered. But that's the problem that I see. Bit by bit, Netflix will erode away what it is, and that's what's going to happen. So it was a monopoly. It was a monopoly, but it was a monopoly no matter what was going to happen. And as I said, this wasn't a good. No matter what happened, this was bad for all of us because monopolies do not solve our entertainment problems. It makes them worse. It homogenizes things because now all the IPs of Warner Brothers have a chance to be abused and desecrated in Netflix because Netflix are not good caretakers. If they own it, if they license it, yeah, then it just happens. But if they own it, they're not good caretakers. There's history to look at here. So thank you, Fernandez T, for the $20. Hope I sufficiently answered your question there. Iron Age. Well, we should all continue to push the independent sphere. That's why you need to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, share it out. We want to be a part of the Iron Age. I got universes to create for you guys. Lots of stuff can happen. We gotta grow the channel a little more. We gotta make this channel able to pay my bills so that I can get to a better place, get to Florida before we get, because we're on a mission here. We have to make this channel a little bit more of a success before May. We got to get there before June. We essentially have until May, June, when I have to give notice of re-upping my lease here. 2 months. So yeah, we have to. We gotta make it work. We're there. We're so close. We are on the precipice of greatness. We are on the edge of breaking through. If we could just increase the channels a little bit more, start watching my real videos again. Damn my shorts. Watch my real videos. Come to the chats. Grow the channel. Let's make it legitimate so that I can get out of here and get in Florida where great things are going to happen. Can't tell you about a lot of stuff. I got a lot of great plans for content once we're in Florida. A lot of fun stuff. But I have to be in Florida. I have to have some of the boys around me. Have to collaborate, make great things happen. Just think about it. Imagine studio shows. Imagine shows on the road. Imagine themed shows. We have to get there. Okay. All right, we've gone through my topics. So we might as well get into what's going on in the rest of the world besides Netflix and Warner Brothers, which is, listen, that's going to swallow up the entire conversation for days now. It's going to, and we'll be taking part of it. But let's get to the news, see what else is going on, because the world doesn't revolve around Netflix and Warner Brothers. It's just going to talk about it for a long ass time. And man, my throat is dry today. It snowed today. It snowed. I had to get up and go out and make sure the car was accessible this morning. I had to do that. Woke up a little too early for that. Anyway, all right, Variety, let's go. The stories, reviews, I don't care. WGA forcefully opposes Netflix Warner Brothers deal. The merger must be blocked. See, here's the thing. I don't love Weasel because I don't love furries. And you're just a pot-stirring troublemaker. It's all you are. You want me to get in trouble with people. You want me to. You want me to pick a fight. You're starting fights. Don't start fights, troublemaker. But now there's the other part of the story. I don't cover this directly. It'll probably come up in conversations over the next few days, but everybody's lining up to oppose this in Hollywood because they realize it's the end of what they do. Personally, I say go for it in that sense. Crush Hollywood. Let it die. But I don't think these people have any ability to stop it. The only people who can stop it is the government. And as we said before, it might not happen. It might not happen. It might fail the regulatory process. Very, very well. All right. Otherworldly Talent, Sinners, Camp Toners, and Wicked for Good lead crowded original song Oscar race. Yeah, I can see that. Capitan's belt ahead of Tech's next TV deal. Okay. F1 Abu Dhabi. I don't care about F1. Landman renewed for season 3 of Paramount Plus without Taylor Sheridan. I mean, I'm sure he's still involved with still his baby, but he's not going to actively be there. And I will ask this of people who watch these Taylor Sheridan shows. I still need to watch Tulsa season 3. I'm just not in the mood. But for the people who watch Landman and all that kind of stuff, when you start getting the seasons where Taylor Sheridan's over there, I'm going to be curious if there is a drop off in quality. I'll be curious. Whatever's going on with these people, I don't care. Is Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers or kill it? Once again, these discussions will be had later. A lot of theories can be had. Anna de Armas still feels she has to prove herself following Blonde Oscar nomination. Some people feel it was a fluke. Listen, I'd like to listen. She doesn't have to prove herself at all. She's beautiful, and she's good at that. Netflix War Materials is an anti-monopoly nightmare. What? No, it is a monopoly. God damn, she's dumb. So that's the problem here. Now, a lot of it's getting political. Politics are gonna slip their way into this. Don't know who that is. Don't care. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 opens to 7.2 million in previews. Considering, I don't know what the budget is on FNAF 2. I don't know what it is. The first one had barely any budget and did really well. I'm sure Jed will probably see this one this weekend or soon and let me know because he really liked the first one. So he'll let us know how this one works out. Bollywood star. I don't care about Bollywood. Don't care. Peaky Blinders movie first look. Cillian Murphy returns as Netflix sets theatrical and streaming release in March. Yeah. Yep. Peaky Blinders. Never watched it. Wasn't interested in it. But people said they needed that movie to kind of tie things up. YouTube star Mark Pliers' self-financed horror movie Iron Lung hit theaters in January. Sure. Let's see. Bluey. I don't know anything about Bluey because that's for kids. Platonic renewed at Apple TV for season 3. Sure. Dakota Johnson is looking behind curtain as a producer is really ugly. Financiers are really shady sometimes. Yeah, no shit. Netflix stock dips on Warner Brothers deal. Warner Brothers Discovery shares hit 3-year high. Well, of course, that was the point because part of the deal, part of the numbers that we really didn't get into is Warner Brothers shares are going to be jacked up to $28, $30. And Netflix shares are going to be devalued a little bit as they're sold to people who had Warner Brothers shares. At least that's how I read it. I might have interpreted that wrong. BuzzFeed is still around. I thought BuzzFeed closed down. World Cup draw 2026. You're allowed to watch. All right. Let's remember. Unless you live in Europe or some South American country, no, we don't give a fuck about for soccer here in America. We don't care. We don't care. Nobody cares. Adam Sandler and Ariana Grande discuss Wicked for Good Secrets. What makes them cry and loving the water boy? Well, can Adam Sandler convince her to eat a hamburger? Because that would be good for her. Here's what I mentioned earlier. Netflix, Warner Brothers movies says Warner Brothers movies will remain in theaters, but windows will evolve to be much more consumer friendly. Gee, I wonder what that means. That can be taken so many ways. What's consumer friendly mean? How do you make a release date consumer friendly? Guillermo del Toro, I'm a big fan of Death. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Well, that's dark. That's dark. Jessica Alba recalls humiliating naked Fantastic Four scene talks new heist family dramedy with Robert Rodriguez. Yeah. And there's the big news of the day. Don't care. Let's go one more in. Anything else? Interest. And yeah, okay, we've caught up on everything. Okay, IGN. Let me blow my nose real quick. Excuse me. Still a little sick. Okay, what do we got here? Attack on Titan concert tour returning US 2026. Fuck Attack on Titan. Fuck Attack on Titan. Netflix's $82.5 billion Warner Brothers buyout risks job losses and higher subscription prices, Democrat Senator Pocahontas warns. Brandon Deal and anti-monopoly nightmare. I don't think she understands how this shit works. I mean, yeah, of course, when a merger happens, when a buyout happens, people lose jobs. But Netflix doesn't have a movie studio, so it's not going to affect movie releases. So I don't know. She's an idiot. Just talk about Alba doing that. Developer of new Postal game shuts down studio after game was announced, then canceled over Gen AI allegations. Okay. GTA Online update reveals first look at Michael in the Grand Theft Auto universe since GTA 5 launched back in 2013 and settles any lingering canon ending questions. I have no knowledge or anything about that. So there you go. Netflix Warner Brothers deal designed to unlock century of content as an AI trove, reports states. So get ready for endless Harry Potter meeting K-pop Demon Hunter memes. Whatever. Memes are going to happen anyway. Memes are going to happen. If that happens, I will laugh my ass off. Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man starring Cillian Murphy hits theaters 2 weeks before Netflix. We'll talk about this sort of. It looks like Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp accidentally revealed Matrix 5 spoilers on an episode of Hot Ones, which fans spotted before they were edited out. Lost on me because I'm not paying attention to that. Don't bother guessing. You're not going to guess right. Tim Kaine, one of the creators of original Fallout, has rejoined Xbox Studio Obsidian to work on a mystery project. Yeah, because they're just going to become a developer company. They're not going to be a console company much longer. Sigourney Weaver reacts to James Cameron saying that if Avatar Fire and Ash doesn't make enough money to justify 4 and 5, he's ready to walk away. I really have to make those movies. Why? You really want to walk around in CGI mechanics? Really? Netflix expects shorter theatrical windows for movies in future as it buys Warner Brothers, and since the primary goal is to bring first-run movies to our members. Ooh, we're gonna bookmark that for the conversation right there. That is. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. The runtime of the theatrical windows for movies is already shorter than it ever has been in cinema history. The 45-day window, one and done. We're lucky if something gets in there for months. Now, I guess that theaters might go away, but as I said before, I'm not going to cry too hard because theater going is a horrible experience anyway. It is. You can hate me for saying that, but theaters are terrible experiences now. They're not fun. It's a job. It's like a job, an application to go to a movie theater now. I reserved my seat 3 months in advance. Fuck you. Fuck you. Doing that shit. Please. But that's a serious thing right there. Netflix, shorter theatrical window, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Put it on streaming, let it get pirated to hell, because that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. Silent Road, a psychological horror taxi driving game announced for PC. Yeah, no thanks. I'm not interested. False star Walter Goggins says he hasn't played Bethesda's games and won't in the future, and prefers to believe the ghoul exists. I'm gonna forgive him that because he's really good as the ghoul. I'm gonna forgive him that. You can't expect somebody, especially dude his age, to just start going playing Fallout games. Can't ask that. There's fan backlash of Metroid Prime 4 beyond its $30 amiibo, which lets you turn on the bike's radio. Yeah, I heard about that. So apparently there's a level in Metroid where you drive around in the desert, and unless you have the amiibo, it's just dead silence. Dead silence. New posters show you'll be able to watch Amazon's live-action Spider-Man Noir in black and white or in color. And it is confirmed Nicolas Cage is going to be Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly. We talked about Hiroyuki Tagawa, rest in peace. My dude. Nintendo's to finally acknowledge Donkey Kong Bonanza's secret character, and fans are not convinced the timing points to Mario Kart World DLC. Ugh. Netflix frontrunner to race to buy Harry Potter. Okay, this is now, we already know that. News came from Star, blah, blah, blah. Germ stuff is from yesterday. Okay, that's all that. Park Place. More. That just dropped. That's a huge part of this. That's a huge part of this. And we'll talk about that more on Sunday. Warner Brothers Discovery sale to Netflix may be about blocking CNN from Paramount Skydance. Already talked about that. Warner Netflix deal triggers strict legal controls inside Warner Discovery as employees warned what they can and cannot do. Yeah, probably just shut up and get off social media. Get off social media. Not allowed to talk. Not allowed to talk. And that's it. That's it. That is it. That's the news. A little bit of other stuff from there, but still, Warner Brothers and Netflix, that's the cycle for the next 72 hours. We'll get a little box office stuff in there too, but that's it. And honestly, that's going to take up all our discussion for the next week, at least. I'm sure after Sunday, I'll have more to talk about on Monday. I'm sure we'll get there. Either way, it seems like we're at the end of the show. I've talked about what I want to talk about. You guys have a chance to think about any articles when we get into this. What else am I going to do today? Well, I got Ball Busters tonight. Guest is Beardo. Then tomorrow, Jen and I will be talking Interstellar on Saturday Night Drive-In. To which I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts on that movie. I'll say objectively a good movie, but I have a lot of thoughts. Oh, darn. Fernandez T, if you're still here for your super chat, please indicate which tier you want that to go in, the Be Merry or Be a Grinch. I'm going to assume, because he said happy holidays, I'm going to assume Be Merry, because he wished everybody have a happy holidays, but I'm going to assume that it's going to be that. And if he doesn't tell me, I'll put it in that one, because he was positive in it. Yeah, so we're going to talk Interstellar, and it's going to be a good discussion. It's going to be a really good discussion. Every time we talk a Nolan movie, it is a good discussion on the show. Then also tomorrow night, I don't know if I'm going to stream this, because I don't know if it's a really good streaming game, but there will be co-op, at least between 3 of us, playing Kingdoms Come recovered, reborn. Kim's Reborn. King's Reborn. There'll be a little bit of a co-op play on that. Don't know if we stream though, because it's not. I don't know if it's a streaming game. It's a chill game, very chill. So there'll be that, and then Sunday Roundtable, where we're gonna take a deeper dive into this Netflix Warner Brothers stuff. Let's see. I think that's it. Of course, now. Oh wait, no, we're not done. We're not done. We're not done. I'm sorry. We got so caught up. We've got a chat. Maybe watch this reviews. I'm sorry. I forgot. I almost forgot. Got so caught up in everything. We have a chat. Made me watch this reviews. Batman and Robin. I apologize. Almost forgot. But I have to do this because Kratos hates me and wants to see me suffer because he's a bad man. He's mean. He's mean. He wants me to cry inside. So chat made me watch his reviews. Batman and Robin. Directed by Joel Schumacher. And I'm apologizing to the chat. Why would I apologize to you? Why would I apologize to you? You do this shit to me. I'm apologizing to the chat because I announced it before, and they deserve my entertaining take. I'm not apologizing to you. I'd never apologize to you. You do horrible things to me. You would see me bent over and abused if you could get away with it. Anyway, directed by Joel Schumacher, and here's the kicker: written by Akiva Goldsman. Akiva Goldsman, who's taken part in Kurtzman Trek. Excuse me. He's one of the people that's involved in Kurtzman Trek. Akiva Goldsman is a monster of a writer. Horrible. So that's who wrote and directed this movie. This movie is a disaster on wheels. It tries to do camp, but gets it all wrong. Only one person understood the assignment perfectly, and that's Arnold Schwarzenegger as Victor Freeze, a.k.a. Mr. Freeze. Schwarzenegger really leaned into it and is the only one that pulls it off. Uma Thurman way overacts as Poison Ivy. Her Poison Ivy overacting is terrible. And these three, Clooney, Silverstone, and I suddenly forgot his full name, Robin, they all just are there. Their performances are flat. So essentially, our real quick recap of Batman and Robin taking place a few years after Batman Forever. Now you've got Bruce has Dick, and he's got his Robin, and they're working together to fight crime. When Mr. Freeze comes out of nowhere to steal diamonds in order to complete his research to save his wife, which is canonical. That's an actual lore thing. But at the same time, over at some botanical research facility being run by Jonathan Glover, who was great. Jonathan Glover is always good. But you had Pamela Isley, a.k.a. Poison Ivy. She's there while he's doing experiments to create a super soldier. And that's one of the major criminal things of this movie. I'm not talking about the super villain. I'm talking about a criminal act movie. They have Bane in this. But it's not Bane. It's just he's just a brainless thug who's used by Ivy to beat people up. That Bane is a calculating evil mother effer. Not just Bane. It's terrible. And it looked terrible too. And he never even fought Batman. He fought fake Barbara and Dick. And she's not even Barbara Gordon. She's Barbara Pennyworth. I guess. It was the sister, but I'm going to call her Barbara Pennyworth. This whole movie's terrible. So essentially, the whole movie is basically Victor Freeze wants diamonds to freeze the city to get money to continue his research to save his wife. Poison Ivy wants to destroy the world and have plans to take it back over. She falls in love with Mr. Freeze because he's unaffected by her powers. Batman and Robin have trust issues. Barbara Pennyworth shows up because Alfred's dying of the same disease that Victor Freeze's wife is dying from, coincidentally. And then it's all about the Batman and Robin being under the Ivy whammy, the Ivy pheromone whammy for most of the movie, fighting with each other about trust, and Alicia Silverstone, fake Barbara, just there to be badass and to show up because she's good at computers. She got kicked out of Oxford or Oxforge, whatever the hell they called it, for motorcycle racing. And that's kind of it. The story is so thin. It's so pathetic because here's the problem. None of these Chris O'Donnell, I remember Chris O'Donnell, that's it, Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson Robin. There are elements that could be good in this if executed properly. The problem is they very Akiva Goldsman like they never do the homework. They never carry the story enough to make it worth it. Because of course, do Dick and Bruce have issues? Of course they do. Problem is that's issues after over a decade of living together and being a family and building trust, where Dick finally at the end says, okay, I'm done being Robin. I'm going to go be Nightwing. Problem is, they've been hanging out for a year. And Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson, a.k.a. Robin, he's already an adult here. There's no relationship built. Not to mention, George Clooney is the worst Batman. He's the worst Batman because he's not Batman. He's Bruce Wayne the entire movie. He's an okay Bruce Wayne. He's a terrible Batman. He doesn't do anything to have two different personalities. And there's one of the core problems of this movie. Anybody who's a Batman fan knows that Bruce's real identity is Batman. Batman's identity is not Bruce Wayne. George Clooney, Bruce Wayne, is this movie. There is no Batman in this movie. I mean, look right here. He's not even wearing a fucking utility belt here. And of course, there's the weirdness of the suit. There's bat nipples. And the opening moments, they have an obsession with showing them in their bat suit asses. Zoop. It's like full-out close-ups as they clench their cheeks in the bodysuits. And they keep showing the asses all the time. Akiva Goldsman and Joe Schumacher want you to see that badass. They want you to see it. They even show you Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl ass, which I'm okay with. But different situation. They didn't give her bat nipples. She didn't get bat nipples. Let's see her bat nipples, yeah. Anyway. So the whole thing they bump around. And then, of course, one of the criminal things is the score. The guy to the score is the same shit they did in Batman Forever. But it worked. It worked in Batman Forever because they still had some uniqueness. They here's the thing. Danny Elfman scored 89 in Returns, and the score had a personality to it. All the characters had their own theme. Nobody has a theme in this movie. It's just the same over and over again, retooled different ways. There's no theme. The villains don't have any themes. The score is a nightmare. And don't get me started on the Batmobile. It's like, it looks like a toy car. He slots right into. It's just a stupid Batmobile. And Dick just rides around on a motorcycle all the time. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And the fight scenes, the choreography is a joke. The dialogue is a joke. There's no real dialogue in this. It's just talk at each other. I love you, Alfred. I love you, Master Bruce. Respect me. Trust me. I am Arnold using one-liner, which is about the only good thing in this movie. Once again, Arnold shines in this movie because he knew the assignment. He knew the assignment. And the thing is, Arnold can do over-the-top camp and get away with it. Nobody else in this movie can get away with it. They can't. They're not good enough. George Clooney really is a one-note son of a bitch. He has no range. He just plays Mr. Cool. That's it. And that's great for Bruce Wayne, but it doesn't work for Batman. And at one point, he actually says the line, "This is why Superman works alone," kind of acknowledging that there is a Superman in this universe, which is connected to Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman. That has been acknowledged in the past, that this universe is connected to that one. But it's so ridiculous and bad. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. That was a proper campy call out in Forever. That was proper campy callback to Adam West's 60s Batman. That was showing respect. This movie is written without respect. There's no respect for Batman and Robin. There's no respect for Batman, Bruce Wayne. By having the gall to make Barbara Alfred's niece instead of Barbara Gordon. That's disrespect. Batgirl is Barbara Gordon. Babs. We call her Babs. Babs is great if given the proper story. This was not done well. And even Gotham loses that personality from the 89 Returns movies, from when Burton directed it. It lost its personality. Now it just looks goofy. And it feels stupid. There's nothing. I don't find anything redeeming about this movie. Nothing at all. It's not even camp funny. That's a problem. It's one thing if you could say something is camp and fun. There's no camp and fun to this. So it's just ridiculous. There's no joy in this movie. It's all stupid. And I forgot how much I hated it because I haven't seen this movie in easily 20 years, if longer. Came out in 97. Saw it in the theaters. Saw it a few times after that on television. Nuh-uh. I don't know a single redeeming thing about this. Just I don't. And in the end, this is what killed Batman in the movies for a long time. This movie did it. This movie did it. Now, fortunately, during the period of time, we still have Batman the Animated Series going on. Paul Dini, Bruce Timm were still cranking out good stuff there. And then eventually, Nolan trilogy resurrected, but the Nolan trilogy is a whole different thing. I mean, it's because they went so camp with Schumacher and Goldsman that Nolan's ground level take was so appealing to people because of this schlock. This movie's terrible. It's terrible. It's bad. I never want to see it again. I never want to see it again. All right, there you go. Chat, maybe watch his reviews. Another one in the books. Hello, Dom. Hello, Patriot. How are you? So there it is. I didn't forget. Almost forgot, but I did not forget. All right. There we go. Now I've got nothing left. Now I'm out of content for you guys. Yeah, they actually showed a Bat credit card. They were bidding millions of dollars in the middle of that. It's just standing there. Bad movie. Bad movie. All right. I got nothing else. Unless you guys got anything else, let me check. Stream elements. Nope, you guys seem satisfied today. So one last review. Let me update it. I don't think Fernando's here anymore, but I'm pretty sure you want to be in the positive tier. So let's see. That's up to 20. All right, so let's review the tier before we head out of here. Mary tier is up to $120. So at another $80, you guys will have to choose somebody for me to be married to in the Mary tier. And Grinch tier is at $215. So at another $85, you guys will have to choose somebody for me to be an asshole to. I'm sure we'll get there. We've got it. I remember, the sooner we get these, the longer I have to be nice to somebody. Man, I got to be nice to my bestest friend ever, Dermy, until Christmas now. Ballbusters is going to be so much fun tonight because I love spending time with my bestest friend, Dermy. It's great. I'm just glad I don't have to spend time with a shaved furry like Weasel or Kratos, who wants me to basically be naked, covered in honey, and eaten by ants at this point. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. Dom H for 5 gifted memberships at the century level. I corrected it. I made sure it went through this time. Thank you, Dom. Thank you. Where do you want that, Dom? You want that in the Mary or do you want that in the Grinch tab? Which one do you want it in, Dom? Which one do you want it in? What do you want it in? You get to choose. Last time you put it in the Grinch. So you want it in Mary? Or you want to keep bumping up that Grinch? While Dom decides, remind everybody tonight. Let's go Mary today. Okay. So that would be an extra $25 on the Mary tier. Thank you, Dom. Put that for there. So that's going to put it at $45. Okay. All right. There we go. All right, then. So let's wrap it up then. I have stuffs to do's. I got stuff to does today. Got to get ready for Ball Busters. Get ready for that. Nice to the room. That doesn't count. You're obsessed with the room. Why don't you go have a nice steamy relationship with the room? You'll love it so much. Anyway. All right, guys. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're over the hour. We've had some fun today. Talked about some serious stuff. Had a little good times here and there. We'll be back Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, for more of this good stuff. But don't forget to join me for this. Was that part of it? Was that part of it? Oh, you're right. God. I guess it's still better than The Room because there's still an actual story. It's a bad story, but there's an actual story in Batman and Robin. There's still a story there. And the acting is better than in The Room. There. I always forget that part lately. Anyway. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Please remember to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on Ball Buster. See you tomorrow for Drive-In and Sunday for Round Table. Table. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Until then, take it easy, everybody.